Hello everyone, I'm Metis Balaska, and welcome back to Arcadia Fallen. We're getting rather close to the end of this game. Let's get right to it. As you can see, we saved in a rather unusual place last time, but there's a special reason why I did this. You'll see right now. This takes a while, and like the next two chapters together are actually quite short. You run and run until you can't run anymore. Ancient tree crowns stretch high above you, shrouding everything in darkness as Mime leads you forward. Everyone's gone. Lost in the chaos of your escape, the two of you now stumble through the forest alone. You trip and fall to your knees, and Mime crouches down in front of you, her big eyes wide with concern.
Are you okay?
What do you feel at this point? Because this is like everything's gone to hell. I think, for real, in this kind of situation, I would be feeling despair. I mean, it's what I chose last time, but still. You feel whatever strength that carried you through the forest drain away. How could it all end like this?
This is...
I used to say I wanted adventure, but not like this. I don't know what to do.
Everything's just too much.
You said it, girl. I'm sorry, Metis. I'm so very sorry. The forest around you is foreign to you, and with the thicket, thicket blocking blocking out the light above, it's difficult to guess how long you've been running or where you've ended up. I don't recognize this.
Oh no.
Just how far into the forest do we go?
I wonder...
I'm not sure. I didn't really keep track while we were running. Fair. But it seems quiet, so we should be safe, I think. There's a rustle in the leaves, and you both freeze, shifting closer together. What was that? A shape emerges from the forest, an ominous feeling washing over you, suffocating you. You have felt powerful magic before, but the crushing presence of the shadow before you is unlike anything from this realm. Almost like it isn't mortal magic at all. The king of the forest. Yep, this is him. I wonder if the no body thing is a design choice, and the human body was added later, or if this just went, or if its price just isn't completed yet. I think it's kind of cool that. Oh no, wait! I can see kind of like a neck stretching out. There, my bad. I think this is a cool design, though. Like it's simplistic, but you can see the sheer power. Mine breathes, and the being steps closer, and your breath catches. He is a tall being, much taller than any human you know. Dark, empty eye sockets of a deer skull stare back at you when you shiver, terror running through your body. I'm going to keep quiet for this one, and since we know he's a gentle sort. You stare at the godly being numbly, and nothing happens. He doesn't move to attack or hurt you, he just watches you silently, taking you in, until he seems satisfied with what he's found. The deer god turns and motions for you to follow him down the path.
Huh?
It looks like he wants us to follow. Let's follow. You nod and follow him silently, mine sticking closely to your side. The sun goes down and the woods turn dark, and as you follow the god through his realm, in here the trees grow taller and thicker, stretching above you into a suffocating dome, and then tiny lights begin to peek out from within the leaves and branches. They glow like lanterns, illuminating the path ahead.
Huh?
What's that over there? Mime look ahead in wonder. Shed. That's a typo. Mime looks ahead in wonder as the deer comes to a halt in front of a clearing. Looking out, you see a small building nestled among the trees. An inn. The deer guard turns to Mime and then leans down, pressing his skull against your forehead. Aww. You move to stop him, but he doesn't hurt her, just stands. Then he rises and walks into the trees. What was that about?
I have some questions.
What was that all about?
I wonder.
He just wished us a good journey.
I wonder.
Strange, I have this feeling. Like he's someone familiar to me, like a father. Yeah, remember how the card of the father or the forest looked familiar to her, and not only me that the fairy we encountered before with Victoria mentioned and her being a child of the king. So yeah, while the game doesn't answer it outright, it's pretty clear that it's Mime is the daughter of the king of the forest, which is why he was sticking with us. He was looking out for his kid, like any good parent should do. That's crazy thoughts. Yeah, sure. It's not like it's been heavily implied already. It's all that adrenaline speaking. But this here should be a place as we can be safe. That's what he said, at least. So let's go inside. I wonder. Ah, yes! I found this in my previous playthrough while going through the endings. Before we continue, I'm going to show it to you right here. This is a nice little Easter egg. Ta-da! Heroes of the Merry Sparrow's Inn. Ooh, and it shines too. I like that. So yeah, at first I was a little confused about this, but then it clicked that these are Kickstarter backers. At least the top backers, I believe. What confused me most was this one, Morgana, because it was as close to the default name Morgan. So I thought, why is that there? Because remember, I found it during the endings. So yeah, that's a nice little Easter egg. You walk into the inn and are hit by the warm air and the scent of hearty foods and mulled wine. Patrons are milling about at the many tables, laughing boisterously and talking excitedly. This is a nice change of scenery. Like a party of old friends catching up after a long year.
Good evening, dear alchemist.
Have you hydrated today?
So this is where your tale took you. How interesting.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you, Rune. It's been a long day, so a friendly face is comforting.
The pleasure's all mine. I was just here to check in with another legend of mine. It seems her tale has finally come to a close, so I wanted to get all the final details.
Do tell. That sounds nice.
That sounds nice. Did she have a happy ending?
That's yet to be seen. For now, let's focus on your story, yes? You have, after all, managed to wander quite far away from home.
Yeah, no doubt.
Welcome to the Merry Sparrow's Inn. The final transit stop for heroes' souls before they pass on to the afterlife.
Yeah, there's a bit of world building. Like, this isn't just a place for this isn't just a place for bards to collect their stories or just to meet. It's where it's where heroes go after they die. So, in a way, it's kind of like Valhalla. Kinda. It could also be likened to maybe Elysium in Greek mythology, but I think Valhalla would be more accurate. But this is just like a stop point.
Wait, these people are ghosts?
Indeed. Why so surprised?
Yeah, technically they're kind of your people now, mine.
You're a spirit yourself, are you not?
Yep.
Ghosts and spirits are not the same. Ghosts can be super vengeful and haunt you for the rest of your life. Also, they are creepy.
You're just too adorable, mine.
I can assure you none of these ghosts are out to get revenge on anyone. Only the souls of those who have lived a life of adventure can enter this place. Yeah, so it's a place. It's a place is where you land if you're a hero, like say Valhalla. I don't know if there's any equivalent to Celtic or anything, but like Valhalla seems like the closest one to me. The kind that has grand tales of heroism to leave behind. I can introduce you to some of them, if you'd like.
Please do. I'm sensing a theme. I'm sensing a theme.
I'm starting to sense a theme here. And the theme is that I keep dying.
I would like to state for the record that it wasn't my fault. This time.
It wasn't your fault the first time either, mine. Don't worry.
I can dispel that misunderstanding. You are not dead. While this is a place to celebrate the end of a long journey, the Sparrow does like to open his doors on special occasions.
What does that mean?
The heroes in this place have seen many things. Tragedy, triumph. They carry with them a well of knowledge. Sometimes, when a traveler like yourself stumbles, the wise words of someone who's been there before will put you back on the right path.
I'm sorry if you were hearing the vacuum in the background, and some housework is being done right now, and I had to pick this time and to record. Hopefully the mic didn't pick that up. Back on the right path. Yeah, so this also takes some inspiration from the Japanese tale of the Sparrow's Inn, which I believe house wayward travelers. I'm not 100% clued up on that. So I'll need to read up on it at some point.
If you wish, you may go see what knowledge they offer.
Ghosts?
Wait. So, if these people are ghosts, what does that make us?
You're not dead, if that's what you're concerned about.
That's a relief.
It does kind of keep happening.
The inn is a safe haven for heroes. Its doors are always open to heroes in need of a bit of guidance. And you, my friend, look like a lost soul if I've ever seen one.
The Sparrow?
Who is the Sparrow?
That would be the innkeeper. He is a patron for all heroes' tales, one of the three gods of mortal stories.
Three gods?
Gods of storytelling? I've never heard about that before.
Few know about them these days, but the Empire's clutches can never reach them in here.
And one of them if they try, I imagine.
The Sparrow is for the hero's tale. Those stories that live on forever. The Raven for the quiet tales. Those that will fade away with those who experience them. And finally, the Nightingale, who watch over the storytellers, the bards, the artists, the mother sitting on the edge of her child's bed.
I want to say the Tales of Swords and Souls thing from the Soul Calibur series, but I can't remember the whole thing. What was it again? A Tale of Swords and Souls across history eternally retold, something like that. I love that series. It was kind of my favorite fighting game series for a while. I was horrible at fighting games though. Though I did know Sapitia pretty well for a while.
Together, they watch over the death and legacy of all mortals in this realm.
The King of the Forest.
We met someone strange who led us here. A man with a deer skull for a head. Do you know about him?
The King of the Forest escorted you here himself?
Yeah, so he doesn't do that often.
That is quite the honor.
Well, we kind of have his daughter with us. My daughter now, bitch. That's kind of mean. Then we can be parents together even if we're not SOs. Heroes?
What did you mean when you said heroes?
Why don't you ask one yourself? Come, I'll make the introductions.
Rune takes you through the crowded tavern, winding through patrons and speaking animatedly until he pauses in front of one who looks distinctively quiet. Oh, no, you're not Batman. 0 out of 10. Sorry. But, yeah. When I first saw this guy, the first immediate thought to me was like he was like Chris Redfield from the Resident Evil series. He just looked rather similar to me. What with the brown sleek back hair and the green clothing and the gloves. So I kind of made some Resident Evil jokes the first time I saw him. A man is sitting by himself, sipping from his drink, smiling lazily at the merriment going on around him.
Good evening, Rixus.
No, his name's not Chris. 0 out of 10.
Oh, Rune? Back for more wild tales, are you?
Something like that.
Rune nudges you forward.
The alchemist here was just passing through and could use a bit of wisdom to guide her forward. Do you mind sharing a little?
The man laughs heartily, placing down his cup.
I think...
Wisdom? I think you've got the wrong guy for that. But sure, I can tell the kid a story.
I'm Rixus.
Happy to be at your service, kid. Very reassuring. Story?
What do you mean?
A story? What do you mean by that? A curious one, huh?
Let me tell you.
You're here because your world just kicked you in the face, right? Yeah, I would call it demon. I would call it a demon invasion a bit more invasion and get a bit more than a kick in the face. But I've been there. Oh, believe me, I have. But I managed to pick myself up from the dirt.
But you see,
I never wanted to be a hero. I was living a quiet life as a merchant, trading wares near the port at Verstad, when I was falsely accused of committing fraud. The woman who framed me was another merchant who didn't much care for the competition, for some nobody mage spawn. And there we have more of that bigotry. He had connections to a prominent blue-blood official who easily swallowed the idea of my crime. I never stood a chance. I lost everything. Had to leave my home, my business, my family.
Oh.
Horrible.
I think...
It was a hopeless situation indeed. I was one commoner against a system that had deemed me a villain. Most sane people would have cut their losses and moved on, but I couldn't do that. What did you do?
I wonder.
What did you do then? I needed a plan.
Let me tell you.
I took all my anger and pain and let it drive me forward. I spent a year planning my revenge. Scheming, gathering intelligence, and training for the job I had to carry out. I entered the noble official's estate and relieved him of some accounting of some accounting book, 'cause he wasn't too keen on sharing. Dumped them at the doorstep of a rival noble, and then just sat back and watched as the vultures ripped him to shreds. As for the merchant, it turned out that he has a bit... voice breaking. It turned out that I hadn't been the first competitor she had been holding down with deceit and threats. When she lost her connection to the elite, the other merchants turned against her. Turns out the allies you make by blackmail are not very loyal in the end. That seems fitting. That seems like a fitting end for a con man to be conned.
Indeed.
It felt great, not gonna lie about that. But once it was done, I noticed something even greater.
But you see...
I think the thirst for revenge gave me a boost to pick myself up, but once I succeeded, it wasn't pain that kept me going. It was knowing that I'd done something to prevent someone else from ending up in the place I did.
It's a simple kind of pleasure, knowing you've made a change to the world.
Things might seem dark now, but I swear it's worth it in the end. Rune steps up to squeeze your shoulder. Yeah, I kind of like how this is the story that you start out with. Like, not some grand adventure, but a guy who was wronged who wanted revenge. But when he was done with it, he thought, huh, you know what? I actually helped people by doing that. And that felt good to him. Like, his life was ruined. Probably would never get it back. But it was the fact that he stopped people from going through the same thing that was the greatest reward for him. He stopped other people's lives being ruined, and that felt good. And it shows that, like, it doesn't matter the size of your deeds, but the deeds themselves that matter.
Thank you for the story, Rixus.
Almost got in the way of Rune again. Sorry. Anytime, buddy. He laughs, picking up his drink again, holding it up for you in a toast. Good luck, kid. I'll be looking forward to hearing your story once you return to this place. You leave Rixos behind, Rune smiling to himself as you head towards another corner in the inn.
So this place is like a club for heroes?
That's a nice way to put it.
Indeed.
Why would he want to share his story with us, though? What's the point?
To reminisce. Mostly. These people are a nostalgic bunch, but also to inspire. Come. There's someone else I'd like for you to meet.
Rune walks up to a tall guy with finely polished armor.
Darius, do you have a moment?
He turns and your eyes widen. Reptile eyes staring back. You've never seen anything quite like it before. Dragon. Whoop, sorry, mime. But yeah, this is a dragon. Kind of makes the bit of bone in Victoria's sword a little more horrific, doesn't it? Funny how it changes when you give something a more human form, huh?
You're quite perceptive.
Most visitors don't recognize my kind anymore.
Darius Dunca, at your service.
I like that name, Dunca. Yeah, he's not dangerous. We're good. What are you doing here?
What?
What's a dragon doing here? So far, I've only seen humans in this place. Some exceptions were made on my behalf. The Sparrow is a great fan of tales of friends facing down on obstacles together, and he didn't want to split me from mine. The dragon motioned with his hand to a table behind you, where 5 people are sharing a laugh over cups of mead. They are a colorful bunch, but all distinctively human.
Really?
These are your friends? But I thought humans and dragons were not very friendly. I mean,
that is true.
it was a great war, yes. The dragons did not like the emergent human race pressing at their borders, and so I sought to end it. I disagreed with my people's decision to change sides to aid the humans.
Huh?
Almost changed the context of that. What happened?
It all began when...
I had learned the location of one of the great dragon generals. A cruel, ruthless killer who had no intention of seeing the war come to an end. Pardon me? I wanted to gather a team to take him out, but not many humans were keen to trust a dragon deserter. So I ended up with those 5.
Things didn't go as planned.
Yeah, yet another group of 5 people. So technically group of 6, but yeah. 5 is kind of a number here. Through our travels, we formed bonds, made memories, and shaped the world for the better. But when we finally arrived to face down the general, we weren't ready.
No.
He was too strong, effortlessly laying waste to our plans. As he toyed, he was toying with us. Bleh. And when he was defeated, and when we were defeated and prone before him, he made us an offer. We could go if we could go if we left one behind. How terrible.
That guy.
Forcing you to make such a choice. He was clearly toying with you. What a sadistic piece of...
You see.
He reveled in the moment. We had played right into his hands after all, and he could do with it as he wanted.
No.
For me, it was an easy choice. I was the one who convinced them to join them. I had to be the one to take the fall. But the dragon didn't want me. He picked someone else. Maddie.
You see.
She was the smallest of us, but she kept her head high as she stood before the general.
But then...
I thought we had lost. And then she pulled a magic... God. This is the time Escon picked to message me. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to mute my phone. I thought we had lost. And then she pulled the magic feather from within her cloak and summoned the spirit of a giant eagle to come to our aid. I wonder if that's a Lord of the Rings reference. Specifically to the movies. I don't think the eagles were in the book. I don't remember. Mostly because I never read the book. Well, I never read from book 2 onwards. I read part of the second book, but I just kind of lost it and just kind of lost my way to reading more, so I never kind of picked it up again. It was such an absurd and fantastical trick to pull, and somehow her defiance in the face of death inspired us. I and our fighter Mal jumped onto the eagle's back, and from the air we fought with renewed strength. Wolfgar, bless his soul, cast spells to heal our wounds, and Meriseth created a distraction to draw the dragon's fire, with illusions of hundreds of ravens. Finally, Oriala used a spell to create a giant magical fist that punched out the lights of our enemy, so she was technically Mage Green Lantern. We won. At least I think she. That sounds crazy. That's quite. Your friends are crazy. That's quite the story.
That's amazing.
That sounds like an epic tale. It certainly didn't feel like it in the moment. Now, millennia later, it was quite a feat.
That day, I learned to put trust in my friends.
Their ideas might have been unorthodox and downright mad, but they saved me. Saved us all.
Thank you for the story, Darius.
Anytime, Rune. The dragon bows his head and walks off towards the table with his friends. More laughter and cheerful conversations rise up from them.
This is all pretty crazy. So all the heroes just live here?
Eventually, the patrons of the inn move on to the afterlife. Some stay longer than others, but eventually, they all move on.
Well, I suppose after fighting a dragon in general and almost dying, I suppose it's fair to have a millennia to have fun.
Where do they go?
Millennium, sorry. Millennia is multiple.
Who
You know.
knows?
Whoop.
That's not my jurisdiction, as no one has ever lived to tell the tale.
That's fair. I mean, when the prerequisite from going to the afterlife is you have to be dead, it's not exactly going to commonly spread around.
How are you feeling?
Comforted.
I feel better now, somehow. This place. These people. It's very calming.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I'm glad you feel that way. The inn is a place of magic, but even magic can't fix everything.
Challenge accepted.
Humans are complicated.
Even more complicated than the phrase would suggest.
Your souls are fragile, yet strong. I think, in time, you will come to terms with what has happened. As for here and now, I think there's someone here who wants to see you.
The bard takes you through the room and to a table in the corner, where a familiar face sits, sipping on a cup of tea.
Child, how in Alethero's name did you end up here?
Yep. Elizabeth went out a badass. I walked here. You tell me.
I don't... How did you get here? Last time I saw you, you were in the town square.
A lot of things happened. I will tell you. But I believe I asked for a story first.
We got separated from the others. And then the king of the forest led us to this place.
So, you are here to seek guidance. That's a relief.
Elizabeth, what are we gonna do? The demons are loose in town.
Yeah, it can't really get much worse, can it?
Everyone is... Is there really no way to put things right?
I'm not going to lie to you. Reinforcing the fractured seal was the easy solution to this. Now that it is shattered, and the demons are out, the situation is most dire. Your locket still might be able to restore the demon's prison, but with no way to trap them again, I fear we don't have a lot of options.
This is all my fault. I couldn't stop it. I couldn't do anything in the end. And now everything is...
Don't blame yourself. None of this will ever be your fault. No matter how things turn out in the end.
Elizabeth smiles gently and reaches out to grab your hand, squeezing it.
You have already done so much. Gotten so far. Your kind heart took you on this path. Your tenacity made you stick it out. You never needed anyone to tell you what to do. You accepted this burden without reservation. By overcoming challenges, you gained confidence in your own abilities.
Especially those last 3 alchemy challenges, am I right?
You gathered a group of extraordinary individuals, and together, you investigated this threat and came up with a plan to solve it. You settled into your role as their leader. Not an easy task, but you made them follow. And together, you faced down one challenge after another. You even fell in love. I'm not so blind that I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I think this is all Elizabeth summing up your choices throughout the game up to this point, and I kind of like it. It's kind of like a brief recap, and it's not only the game acknowledging the choices you made, but it's also it's also like feels so natural, probably because you have to click through it manually. But it's many AAA games that try to do this with voice acting. It sounds kind of awkward, doesn't it? At least earlier. I'm not 100% sure of the state they do now. But yeah, I love this. Like, it really shows that every choice you made, even the little ones that don't really affect much, matter. And that's kind of like the whole that's like kind of a big part of this game. No matter how small your choices, they matter.
You are blinded by despair, and the road ahead is impossible to find in the storm. However, I am so very proud of you. No matter how this turns out, your journey to this moment has been remarkable.
Yeah, and this clearly shows is like there's always the sense that you and Elizabeth were more than just master and apprentice. It's like she was like a mom to you, and depending on your character, she probably was your mom, in a sense.
What a brilliant alchemist you have become.
I'm not crying. Admittedly, I am feeling kind of emotional right now. Like this scene right here. This is part of the reason why I wanted to save it for this particular session. Not just to drag out the length, but I thought this scene was so impactful that it was worth coming to it in this session.
Thank you.
You smile, your first honest smile for what feels like years, and Elizabeth reaches out to give you your shoulder a squeeze.
You are welcome, dear.
You calm down and your chest feels lighter. There's still much to do.
There's gotta be a way to put all those demons back where they belong.
Going around and sealing the demons away one by one with a locket could take a lifetime.
I've got cleansing incense. Like we only need to make a couple $1,000, all right?
The amount of damage they could cause in the meantime is unimaginable.
That's true. I can't imagine anyone in town has insurance.
If only there were, like, a giant spirit locket we could use to seal them all away at once.
About that.
What?
Well, color me surprised. Mine, you're a genius.
You're a genius.
I am?
Liv did theorize that the seal itself worked much like a spirit locket. The lockets were modeled after that structure, after all.
So you're saying if we repair the seal, we might be able to use it to trap the demons again?
It's only a theory. We can't be certain.
It's worth a shot.
It's worth trying out.
That's the spirit.
Get it?
What about Ronan, though? If we trap the demons again, will he...
So long as the demon is bound to Ronan, sealing it away will be impossible, I'm afraid.
So there's no way for us to stop him?
There's always a way.
Elizabeth?
I didn't want to have to give this to you.
She hands you a piece of metal. You recognize it as the missing piece of the locket. Anne's not gonna like this. Yes, it does kind of make her work the past few hours seem like seem kind of pointless. Like she was just making what we needed, and now we have what we needed.
Listen.
You know,
Anne's gonna be really angry when she finds out you hid part of the locket from her.
Anne didn't need to know about this. And she won't need to know in the future. This is the piece that made me the spirit alchemist on the battlefield. It allows you to use the locket to unlock souls, demon or human, killing them.
That's...
When I left the Empire, I removed the piece to disarm the locket. I didn't want it to be used to take any more lives. But it appears your path ahead might call for it. Taking a life is a heavy burden in many ways.
Yeah, that's true.
You need spirit energy to fuel the spell. A lot of it. If you want enough energy to repair the seal, you won't get a lot of chances.
But, no pressure.
But if Ronan dies, then the demon inside him will be released, and it can be sealed away with its brethren.
But then Ronan will... Isn't it possible to just hit the demon instead? Then Ronan would be free of it, right?
If it was that easy to end a bond between a human and a spirit, don't you think I would have used it on you when we first met, Mime?
Yeah, that is true.
Oh.
I see.
I see.
Whoops. Your choice will influence your personality going forward. I accept that I'll do whatever it takes to stop this. Ronan, the real Ronan, deserves a second chance.
I agree. This cycle of violence has to end. There has to be another way.
There might be. You are the spirit alchemist now. You have surpassed anything I thought possible. I trust you will find the right answer, whatever it might be.
I still think Spirit Alchemist sounds cool.
We should start by finding the others. Though, they might be anywhere by now.
I think you'll figure something out.
To the tavern!
You do, after all, not just share a bond with Mime anymore, but with all of your companions. Use it. Connect with them, and your skill will take you to them. I'm sure whatever needs to be done will become clear then.
I appreciate the specifics. Thank you.
Thank you for your help, Elizabeth.
It has been a pleasure, my child.
You'll be coming with us, won't you, Elizabeth?
Mime?
Elizabeth stays here with me. She still has not told me all the details of her grand adventure, and I am very curious.
Wait, that means... Elizabeth, you're...
Yeah.
My journey has come to an end, child. That is the natural way of things. After all, you don't need this old teacher anymore.
I might not need my teacher anymore, but I still need you, Elizabeth. You can't leave me. Not now.
Child, you mean the world to me. You are family, never just my apprentice. And even if this is the moment that we part ways, I will never be far from you. I will be here, listening to the nightingale sing of the amazing tales that I know you have ahead of you. And once your journey comes to an end again, I will be waiting. The memories of the people who helped us through life reside within you. That is a powerful thing. Use it.
I'll miss you.
I'm going to miss you.
And I, you. None of the heroes here are half as exciting as you, my child. But I will be fine. Now go. You have a world to save.
She smiles and then turns to mine.
Take good care of each other. my dear Mime.
The spirit sniffles loudly, drying her eyes.
Oh, okay. I promise.
Ah, my baby. You pull out your locket and focus on the face of a dear friend of yours, reaching out with all your heart towards their spirit. And then Elizabeth's smile fades away.